Family, again, we're back. Seeing this video, of course, you know what day it is. You know what time it is. It is McKinnen Mondays. Today, we're going to be reading another excerpt from the chapter. Again, if you don't, or if you are new here, or first time, first watch, like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you need to. Any thoughts, any provoking thoughts, feel free. I'm open to any comments and any suggestions, anything that you have in mind. I'm totally open to it. And we'll get started. Also, just know that the book is on Amazon. Currently getting into looking at different private bookstores as well. So be looking out for it. And last but not least, my high school English teachers. If you guys want a free book or want a book to take a gander at, or if you'd like to take a look to see if you can implement it into your curriculum as far as a teaching tool, I think this is a really good one as far as reflection, knowing yourself, going through experiences, navigating through tough times and experiences and things that are relevant to our youth and our adults as well. Let me know, leave a comment. Also on Instagram, Dr. Melchris2, DrMelChristo. You can let me know your thoughts there as well. All right, so let's get right into it. We're in chapter 8 now, so we're moving right along here. And here's an excerpt from chapter 8, which says, he hesitated, then took a couple breaths and said, "You know, Molly, I think at this point you're learning more and more about the history of this family, which is good for you, because I heard from Mark and Michael that you're the only one who plans to have kids and push the family legacy along. So I think it's important for you to know." He sighed. "Well, what happened to your grandmother was not an accident at all. We found out later." So Molly, at this point in this chapter, is speaking with her grandfather, and now they're getting to know each other a little better, and they're open to having a conversation, because Molly in the beginning didn't really see her grandfather too much. He was kind of more distant from the family, and I think in life that kind of happens quite a bit, to where you tend to get away from, being around the, older statesmen of your family. And, it could be a number of reasons. Life happens, things happen. But I think it's unfortunate, and unfortunate because they kind of have the beginnings or the inner workings of the legacy and where you're from, and how you came about and why things are happening and what connections are to what, and maybe why this relative is treating this relative this way, or why this person is like this, or why you don't get to see this cousin. So speaking to your grandparents can give you quite a few answers. And I think grandparents get to a certain age, or older uncles or aunts, if you guys don't have grandparents, they start to get to the end and they're like, "Man, I'm just gonna tell the truth. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm gonna lay it all out there. I'm gonna tell you everything you need to know, because I'm not gonna be here too much longer." So I think it's important for anybody of youth or adulthood to go speak to those who are older, because they know things that you may need to know moving forward. And if they're gone, they can't tell you, like maybe inner workings or secrets or things that you need to go do or see to maybe learn more about yourself, or to learn about the family that you cohabit and coincide in. So I think it's important. So on that note, how would you react to hearing about the past? I think the past is something that can give hindsight to the future. The past is something that's important. The past sometimes tell you who you are. The past sometimes helps you to reflect on who you are and what can come, and why your personality is set a certain way, or why things are happening in a certain way. So I think that's all inclusive and all important. How important is history to you? For me, history is very important. The more that I learn about history, the more things are making sense, especially nowadays, where history is coming to fruition in its truest form versus how it's being presented, or how it's been presented to us with missing information and facts removed, and, things tweaked. Certain holidays are being changed because of the truth and the things that we're learning. And then we have this pushback, of course, by those empowered to say, no, we don't want you to learn about this because we don't want your opinion or how your feelings of us or this country to change. But I think the truth is the truth, and I think the youth do a really good job of seeking that, and they're learning and they're developing confidence in doing things that they feel are right. And I'm so proud of that. So the history is important. I think history is one thing that you want to make sure that you embark on and you find the things. And I always encourage people who are traveling, when you travel, go find a museum. Go find an area where they talk about the history of this place, because museums typically can't hide the truth. They kind of have to tell you and show you the things because it's a visual representation of what really happened or what has been going on. And then, of course, you have textbooks that have been, I don't want to say eradicated, but hidden, that you can find as well. You can read about, and that's kind of where my journey is going to embark to. I'm going to look for certain texts about things that are still there, but are not talked about because, of course, they don't, they meaning the higher power up, higher ups, whoever you're encountering, they don't want you to know. They don't want you to empower yourself. They don't want you to be who you're meant to be. So history is very important. Legacy. I think history is tied to legacy, right? Because you set the tone for the future of your family, kids. If you guys plan on having any, you want your kids to know that you've done something for you. Now, in my mind, what my parents did for me has no monetary value. I didn't have a savings. I didn't have any of those things. But what they provided me were the skill sets that I have developed to allow me to create that legacy and that monetary value for my family moving forward in the future. So some things are priceless, and it all depends on how you look at it. Some people get upset where they see other people get left with a trust fund or something and they didn't get any. They look at their parents like, why'd you do that to me? Versus looking at the skills that they provided you for you to start that, and that's how I look at it. I look at it like, man, they provided me all the skills that I need to do it, so let me go out and get it, so I would look at it that way versus looking at it, how come you didn't leave me any money? Well, maybe because you weren't ready for that. And if you got the money, you wouldn't have done the right thing with it. Maybe you needed to take the time to learn how to spend the money or earn the money yourself so that then you can teach your kids the things that you were missing. So that's kind of how I look at it, and I'm thankful for it either way. But legacy is very important. What you leave behind is something that's important for your kids and the people that you love and the ones that you want to give that to. So that's very important. I think knowledge is important in having a legacy. A legacy without knowledge or gained or earned experience or understanding is detrimental. It's hard. It's tough. It's difficult to fathom, right? It's like without the knowledge, you won't know the legacy. Without the legacy, you won't know the history. The history and the knowledge have to come together, and they have to provide what that legacy is. So they're all interconnected. History, knowledge, and legacy, they all kind of need each other for you to understand what that is and how to push that forward, right? So I think the legacy is what you push forward. The history and the knowledge is the fuel, and the history is what helped to provide or what started or created the foundation for that legacy. And I think in this story, Molly is learning that, and she is going to do things to try to grow the legacy of the McKinnens due to what has happened. And again, things start to take shape and become difficult. So we're going to wrap it up. We're close to the 10-minute mark. I don't want to keep you guys too long. Again, remember to like and subscribe on the socials. I'm there. I'm gonna be there in different. I'm gonna spread my wings, guys. I'm gonna try to expose this book to as many people as possible, because those who have read it so far have told me it's a great read. So I want to keep pushing that, and I welcome any negative comments or negative feedback, because that'll help me learn, and it won't bother me at all. So again, thank you guys for listening. Remember to like and subscribe, leave a comment. You can find me on YouTube at Dr. Melvin Johnson, and my videos will be there. Thank you guys. Enjoy your week.